Hey guys, so I just got back from seeing the DisneyNature documentary Bears. Um, Going into this movie, I didn't really have much expectations, and the fact that I didn't get really any trailers at all for this film leading up to seeing this movie, and I did get around to watching the trailer, and I thought the movie looked fine from the trailer, and I this is actually probably this is the first Disney nature documentary I've ever watched, and I know they've been making a lot of them for the past few years. Every year they come out with a new one uh, on Earth Day, and I just never get around to go seeing them. The only one that I actually had interest in seeing was that chimpanzee one because I thought that trailer was adorable, and I thought that little chimp Oscar was adorable. I still have never gotten around to seeing it. I heard mixed things, mainly the fact that Tim Allen's narration was really bad from what I've heard. And it takes away from the movie. I've heard that a lot about that film, but I always wanted to get around to watching that because that looked like a pretty cool story. Um, but yeah, this is also one of the only documentaries I've ever seen. This is the second documentary I've seen in theaters. Um, the first one I saw was back in 2009, which was the Michael Jackson documentary. That's how long it's been since I've seen one, which is pretty crazy. I just never get around to watching documentaries in theaters, and usually there's not many that come to my theater, anyways. Um, but yeah, this movie's been getting pretty well received. It's getting a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I figured this movie would be really good if it's getting that big of a reception. And you know what? This movie doesn't deserve a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie has some problems, uh, which I'll get into. But other than the one problem I have with this movie, I enjoyed this movie thoroughly. I would say it's a rental, honestly, mostly. um, and that's about it. Or maybe seeing it at a cheap theater or something like that, or a matinee showing. As it is, it's not a bad movie. It's just there's one thing that does hinder it, I'll say, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Um, I should get into positives. I like this movie is really well fucking made, really well shot. I give credit to the fucking filmmakers of this film. Um, and the fact that they were up close and personal with these bears, for fuck's sake. A little too close. They actually, at the end of the movie, show. I was interested in how close they were to these bears, and at the end of the movie, at the end of the credits, you do see like footage of them filming this movie, and you go, Jesus Christ, it's a little too close for comfort with brown bears, especially Mama Bear and her cubs. As this movie follows, if you don't know the story, it's basically the first year of these. It just follows 1 year um, from the end of winter to the beginning of the next winter. It follows 1 year in the life of Mama Bear and her two cubs, newborn cubs, and it's the first year of the newborn cubs. Like it's their first year alive, um, and it follows their adventure, their adventure to try to find food for the winter and all that stuff like that. It's the whole point of the movie, and their interactions with wolves and ravens and other bears and stuff like that. It's all very natural. Um, but you're just sitting there like there's a point like there are points in the movie they explain that these bears are fucking hungry, and here's at one point because they're trying to find food. The mama bear's trying to find food for the winter, so that she can feed her cubs throughout the winter, and they're having trouble throughout the whole film. And you're sitting there going, and they actually show at one point the bear looks like it's starving. It's really fucking skinny. The mama bear is really fucking skinny, and at one point I'm just sitting there like, if I was that filmmaker, I would not be anywhere near these bears because if they're that fucking hungry, they probably would be half tempted to fucking go after the filmmakers. I mean, good God, that takes balls to go film a movie like that. And there's also scenes where there's bears fighting each other, and the camera's not too far away from them, and I'm like, dude, that's a little too fucking close for comfort, man. I give the filmmakers a hell of a lot of credit. I also like that this movie doesn't really sugarcoat stuff. Like I've heard that this movie get a lot of compliments for that. Yeah, it doesn't really, because it shows the dangers these bear cubs. That there's points in this movie I didn't think the bear cubs were actually going to live. I thought it was going to be pretty sad ending. Where there was a couple times where I thought that one of the bear cubs. There is one point in the movie I actually think one of the bear cubs dies, and I thought, holy shit, Disney's gonna have some balls to do that, but they don't kill him off. And there's a point at the end of the movie where they haven't still found any food, and it looks like they're not going to be able to live throughout the winter. And you're like, wow, this could end on a very depressing note. But of course, it has a Disney kind of ending to it, and they are able to find the food for the winter. But yeah, it does have, and it also has like bear. Like I said, it shows fucking that. Also, like bears are sometimes cannibals too. That they eat their own kind. That's pretty fucked up. They explain that in this movie, which is kind of really grotesque for a kids movie, but that's nature for you. You can't really sugarcoat it. I like that this movie doesn't really sugarcoat it. Now I guess let's get into why I didn't like this movie as much as a lot of people have. And this is something I've heard people actually read. I actually read some reviews after I saw this movie. I usually don't read reviews until after I see the movie. And I saw people praising this. And I don't know fucking why. And I'm talking about the fucking narration in this movie done by John C. Reilly. John C. Reilly, first off, I like John C. Reilly. I do. I thoroughly enjoy the guy. I loved him in Walking Hard. Walk Hard, I mean, that's what the movie's called, Walk Hard. I love that movie. That's really funny. And I like Wreck-It Ralph. I think John C. Reilly's very funny and all that stuff like that. But in this movie, he does the narration I fucking hate. And the fact that instead of letting some narration for a movie like this is fine. You need this. A lot of times you need narration for a film like this. There's footage like this to explain some things that you can't see off on camera, and you need to give a little insight to, like, maybe telling the dangers that await them and all that stuff like that, and or explaining that they need to get food before winter and stuff like that. And that's fine. Him explaining that kind of stuff is important to the story. But where I have a problem with his narration is the fact that sometimes the narration in this movie is not needed at fucking all. And there are scenes where they could just let the scene, or the scene that's playing out, tell the story itself without words. Instead, John C. Reilly has to jump in every fucking so often and do a little cutesy voice that he gives to one of the bear cubs, or tells us some little cutesy smoochy fact or something. It's fucking annoying. There are points in this movie it gets really annoying. At the beginning especially. His narration is annoying. Especially when the fact that he's giving like a voice to the bear cubs. And it's really stupid and not necessary. It kind of talks down to you, honestly. It's like, kids are not that fucking stupid. If you just let the scene unfold in front of them, they can figure out what the fuck is going on without somebody trying to tell them what's going on. I mean, kids are not that fucking stupid. And God, it was so dumb. There was some narration that was really fucking dumb especially at the beginning. It did get better as the movie progressed, because as the movie got moved along, there were scenes where they would just let the the images on the screen tell the story and not have John C. Reilly chip in, and that was nice. But the first half of this movie didn't, and that's where I had a problem with this movie. And it really took me out of it sometimes. And it really bugged the shit out of me. Like and I read a review where they said, "Oh well, it's humanizing the bears." Don't need to fucking humanize grizzly bears. This is not a fucking animated film, people. This is not a movie where you need little cutesy wootsy voices for grizzly bears. You need that for like an animated film, but not a fucking live action real footage of grizzly bear or brown bears. I apologize, they're brown bears, not grizzly bears. But yeah, I mean, you don't need that fucking kind of narration in this kind of movie. It bugged the hell out of me in a lot of parts, and it kind of took me out of the movie especially in the first half. Apparently, I'm the only one who thinks this, because John C. Reilly has gotten a good reception. And again, I like John C. Reilly, but that was bad. Some of that was bad. It's kind of like I didn't see this movie, but I heard a lot about it. It's kind of like with the Walking with the Dinosaurs, and how that movie was supposed to be mostly a movie that was silent, but then they added narration and voices like later on into the film. Kind of reminded me of that, but it's not as bad as, from what I've seen, the Walking with the Dinosaurs. This movie isn't as nearly as bad as that movie, but I'll give them points for that. But it's kind of reminded me of stuff like that. It's really unnecessary narration. You can still have narration for a movie like this, but watch a fucking good example. Watch narration of like documentaries on TV about bears. They don't have that kind of narration that you have in this movie. It's not fucking needed. Watch the fucking narrations in those kind of little documentaries on TV, and you'll see how to make a real good narration. And not watch Morgan Freeman in March of the Penguins. That's a good example too. I mean, he doesn't fucking try to talk down to you while watching this. Watching his narrations. Or listening to his narrations. I mean, that makes more sense. Yeah, again, I think the movie's not bad. It's just not as good as a lot of people say it is. The movie is a short sit. It's an hour and 13 minutes, literally. Like an hour and 17 minutes. I take that back. It's an hour and 17 minutes. It's very short, and it goes by very quickly. It's not it's not boring at all, or anything like that. I did get a lot of new trailers for this in front of this movie. All kids movies, of course. I got the new Planes movie, Planes Fire and Rescue trailer, the new trailer for that. And that looks fucking stupid. That trailer made the movie look worse than the first one. The first trailer did. What the hell else? I got the How to Train Your Dragon 2 trailer, the new one, and that looks really good. I love the first one. I'm really looking forward to this one. This one looks like it'll be really good. I hope it is. I really do hope it is, because I really love the first one. And I'm hoping this one is just as good. What the hell else? We got the trailer for the next DisneyNature documentary that comes out a year from now, called Monkey Kingdom. I don't know. It's like a documentary about like these monkeys that are living in this part of India that's abandoned or something like that. Might not be India. Apologize if it isn't. That's what I thought I got out of it, that it was India. But it's a movie about monkeys. I love monkeys. They're awesome. Monkeys are awesome. So that could be pretty fun. I think I'm forgetting something else. Also got, I don't think I've mentioned this trailer. I've got this trailer a few times over the past few months. That Box Trolls trailer. It's from the guys that made the company Leica and Focus Features. They're the companies behind such films as Coraline and Paranorman, which are really great movies, especially Paranorman. And I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know what's going on in this trailer, but this movie looks really fucking. It looks just the look of it, and, knowing that this is probably gonna be just as good. I have a feeling this will be just as good. I don't know what. Again, it's like I have no idea what's going on in the trailer. It's about a strange kid, like in Coraline and Paranorman, and apparently trolls that live in boxes. I don't know. That's all I get out of it. But yeah, it looks, and its song on the trailer is really catchy too. I like this song of it too. But anyways, yeah, go see Bears. It's not that bad. I mean, I would probably, like I said, I'd probably say wait till it comes out on DVD, maybe rent it at Redbox or something like that. It's not, like I said, it's a short sit, and it's not, if you can get past the narration, the first half of the narration, you'll be all right. Next, I'll be back Friday with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is the movie that's kicking off the summer blockbuster season. So this is one of my favorite times of year, summer blockbuster season. This year, I think it's going to be really good. And I'm looking forward to Amazing Spider-Man 2, even though somebody fucking spoiled the ending of it to me, particularly who dies in the movie. There is a death in the movie, if you don't know. Thank you, fucking internet, for spoiling that for me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'll be back on Friday, well, Thursday actually. I'll be doing a pre-screening for this movie. I'll be seeing a pre-screening, and I'll have a review like Thursday night, Friday morning, something like that. So I'll talk to you guys later.